I was gonna do David Cronenberg review or a tier rank for all his directorial work. However, it turns out I haven't seen everything he's done. There's like a small fraction of films I've just glossed over. The other person I tried to do was John Carpenter, and like he, Cronenberg, and Brian De Palma. It's like there's a certain number of films that I'm just never really tickled my fancy, and so I've never seen every little thing that John Carpenter has made as a director or whatever. And so I'm kind of stuck with a person that I didn't make a video on that you all know that I've basically seen everything, or seen enough that I'll make a video, and that is Christopher Nolan. Um, I just did the David Lynch one, and I was surprised to notice that he just has only made, like 8 movies. And as you'll see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11. He's not that much further down the line in prolificity than Christopher Nolan. Or sorry, Nolan is, you know what I mean. Nolan is not that much more prolific than David Lynch. So without further ado, we can sort of jam out with some of these opinions. How good is Batman Begins? I would say it's good. I remember it vividly. It was the most unusual Batman film. Um, it took it so seriously, and the cinematography and the fucking production design were like really scintillating and involved and sort of detailed, I guess, and just sort of high octane for sure, and like three-dimensional is the word I go to because all the other films, I think they were around the same time as the cartoons for Batman, and so it just fell flat. Like, yeah, you were, it was a live action film, the one with whatever, um, who did Batman? I don't know, George Clooney, right? I mean, who all the Val Kilmer, right? All these different guys did Batman, and they all those movies all kind of fall flat because they're basing themselves off cartoons. However, this movie clearly was basing itself off of the films and trying to sort of sex itself up in comparison to the films, and so it became even more three-dimensional than the films. And that was really, really kind of groundbreaking, I suppose. Although that's really it's not the first thing people think about when it comes to the Dark Knight franchise, but it's one of the first things I think about. I didn't deeply talking about. I think this is a good movie. It, like a concept, so the sort of visual concept is more interesting than the actual plot. Um, I did like that he trained, so he started his training process, and it uses an excellent sort of villain slash mentor. Really kind of, dealt away from his quite vision sort of disappointment. He was a lot more, fierce in this film, and I think this was before his Taken film, so it's kind of a return form from Neeson being Neeson, or Neeson, yeah, Neeson portraying himself as more of a tough guy, whereas the other in the 90s, early 2000s, he was sort of a lovable loser type in many cases. But later on, he became more pronounced as sort of action star, and his role also Christian Bale's career, but probably took charge more after this film, even though he's already fairly famous. I think he became like pretty damn famous after he became Batman. There's no way he became less famous after this movie, just say. That's it. I think it's not the best one. The series thing's only good. I think the Dark Knight is great. Great movie about the Joker. Everyone does. R.I.P. Heath Ledger, a lot of his things, and Joker's one of them. Maybe the best thing he ever did, right? But still, the way Dark Knight Rises, I think this was sort of, they really should not have the Joker in the second movie. They didn't mistake, he should have been in the third movie. And I think Dark Knight Rises really should have been the second movie. I think I was consider it as if that's the order. And it would be the best franchise of all time. But because Dark Knight Rises did technically come out as the third trilogy, series ends up being sort of it's overly sort of balanced in the middle. It doesn't really crescendo towards the end, like say Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or Toy Story or some other really good trilogy. Indiana Jones, maybe. Although Indiana Jones might have the same problem actually. Like the second Indiana Jones was the best one, and the third one was actually kind of annoying by comparison. Let's look that up. When was the Last Crusade? That second one. And it was Last Crusade. I think that was my favorite. No, okay, no, I was no, never mind. Yeah, no, Indiana Jones also had that's one of the third one. Sean Connery, of course, the legend himself. So, I think this is unusual. It's really good. All three pretty strong films. One is probably great, and the other two were sort of significantly lower than the second film. And that sort of up and down arc for those three movies. Really, and that's something we've experienced a lot in the modern cinema era of the last 20 years. We really haven't seen a lot in 30, 40 years now. I guess I feel fairly odd about this trilogy. And for the deal with Dunkirk, the most recent film, or recent Oppenheimer, so released by next month. So our question we have to Oppenheimer, maybe we'll do this in retrospect with Oppenheimer minds. But anyway, Dunkirk is so not actually Tenet. He Tenet. So I think I think Dunkirk. And Dunkirk recently, right? The last several years before COVID. And Dunkirk, if you're going to make it work on cinematography alone, Dunkirk would be masterpiece. But all told, the plot is a little fucking weird. The setting is kind of dull. The acting is sort of irrelevant. The one cool thing is sort of the technology, the historical sort of cautionary. Um, yeah, and of course, the editing, some type of the sound design, the scoring. For me, it was watchable. It was a watchable film. Um, Living Hero or close-ups really are the modern landscape for filmmaking. That doesn't mean they're going to make them good. You kind of trick the audience a little. Bring a lot with it. What kind of bows out you talked to. But I think Dunkirk was a watchable film at best. It just didn't have a lot of significance for me. I think the reason is because there were a lot of people fighting up until Dunkirk. At Dunkirk, there was a constant battle. That was sort of in the background, but I think if you're going to make a World War II movie, you can't just sideline the actual combat. I'm not saying something it's important, but it's the only thing that really should be respected. To everything else you respect somewhat less. And so they decided to conscientiously make a film about pacifism and running away from a battle, which to me was very significant. But I just feel like they do a disservice to like legacy of that war, right? War. Not just that war. I mean, all wars and all conflicts of arms where sort of borders are defined by the consequence of the war, and sort of nationalities are defined by the consequences of the war. Peace is defined. Terms of peace is defined by the consequences of war. Social laws, real laws, everything is defined by wars. At the end of the day, so you could represent them more even-handedly, I think. And Dunkirk failed to do that. And then I'm a World War II history buff. I'll watch anything about World War II pretty much, but or at least try to. But Dunkirk just sort of was like a revenge best served cold. It felt bitter. So not crazy about Dunkirk. Up next is Inception. This was the first film that made put Christopher Nolan on the map as like a really good popular director. I think The Prestige probably was um was the one that made him more of like a low key good director because anyone like The Prestige they would obviously look up who directed it, who wrote it, who did this and that you know contribution to it. But Inception was just kind of this perfectly baked cake, and I still think it's a masterpiece. I would have to rewatch it. Fuck it, I don't really need to, do I? I remember it fine enough. It was a really good movie. Um, Maybe a little soupy for some people who like more nuts and bolts drama. The story didn't really have a compelling plot. It was sort of a story about the consequences of sleep. So somewhat like The Matrix, it just sort of seemed like a little too meta, I guess, or a little too micro, or whatever. Choose your Greek prefix, right? It's like whatever you know alteration it had in reality, it was doing that, and it ran its course on that based on the merits of that alteration. Still, I think all told, like that it was a brilliant film, even though it was kind of engineered to be different. Still was a really good film. Um, had really good pacing. Had sort of interesting combat scenes. It was an action film more often than not, but I think one of the better action films we've had in the last 20 years. Certainly last 15. When was it released? Or I still think it's 2020 in my head. I meant 2010. Yeah, okay, that's 15. Yeah, okay. Is it? Yeah, last 13 years. 13 years ago was Inception. Man, has time gone on. I was in high school then. It doesn't feel like yesterday, but it doesn't feel like 13 years either. It feels maybe more like 7. By the way, 7's not on the list. That was the picture. But no, they're kind of something like that. Okay, that's Prestige. Really, it's out of order. I'm just feel like some generation two. There's like 3 of these videos, so I'm just maybe not in no particular order. I mean, in preferential order. The Prestige. I think it's a masterpiece. I saw it. It's just got me. To be fair, someone was pretty young, but I remember seeing it by second time and kind of forgetting plot twists and hard to follow. And I was still like in awe, even though I kind of knew the ending anyway. I just so I feel like I've seen it twice. So it'll be like, well, I think it really is an amazing movie. Better than The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight has a lot more pomp and circumstance, and that kind of annoys me. Um, he's sort of doing that a lot these days. Uh, Tenets, what Interstellar. Interstellar is great. I think it's a little tedious, all the agricultural sort of criticism about GMOs and shit. It's a little like it's a little unwelcome. And the first act of the film suffers from like, an intense amount of GMO sort of social commentary that's kind of wild with people starving and like dust farms and stuff. But anyway, it's like dust farms and fucking it goes somewhere wherever it was with oxygen, you know, whatever it was pollinated airs that kill people. Also, yeah, Interstellar ended up being a really cool exploration of like space travel, and the physics were not always valid, but they were a lot more valid than you would tend to expect from a film of that kind. And for the scope of the film, the budget, the impressive um, special effects, to be honest, all that made the movie really kind of baked likes, or it made it crispy crust. So I give it a great. It's not my slice pie, but it's a damn good cheesecake. for the birthday party. Anyway, Memento. I can't say I've seen this more than once, but from what I remember, it's a bit like this sort of jarring, exciting film that you just sort of terrifies you. It's a little bit more like Seven, right? It's the only I really call thriller on this list. And it's not a thriller for sure. And it's a tricky premise, but the story is a short story written by his brother, Nolan, his brother, Chris Bird's brother, David Nolan. And I think it's rather great and good. Maybe it's great. After watching it, could be good, right? I think it's a little bit better than like Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises. This movie's kind of tiresome in a way, very like at the end and kind of into themselves. Like, next 10 minutes. I think it's also that same problems that movies have. It's like a little too make themselves. A lot of gizmos and darkness and freaking sort of unseen enemies lurking behind the mist. But it's just not like not the kind of thing that like makes me feel like it doesn't feel like a rewarding experience. It doesn't feel like a great story. It doesn't feel like there's like a lot of importance and things going on. And maybe I didn't rewatch it. Maybe it was something missing. Maybe I didn't understand the ending. I don't know, but I think Tenet was like a Call of Duty kind of thing. I definitely enjoyed that part that was sort of pretending to be a video game. Like say like Battlefield 5 or something like Battlefield 5, Battlefield 4, right? Battlefield 3 and 4, like a modern FPS for like the 360 or whatever those, right? So for like PlayStation 4 or something, or Xbox One or something, PlayStation 3, right? Any of that, Tenet, I felt like it was meant for those kind of people, gamers. And that was cute that it had a charm to it. But the story just seemed like it was a lot of moving parts and not a fixture. So I can only give it good for now. When I rewatch for the first time for a rewatch, these Memento was also once, and I'll try for more consistent, cohesive opinion. The other thing is I haven't seen Insomnia or Following. I imagine none of them is like a very early film. But I know that maybe they both are. Like with I was at the machine. This was an old film. I was surprised to find it was. I weird dreaded that. 2002. Oh, is that Al Pacino the last in town? Wow, that does sound pretty good actually. Al Pacino just steals the show. And he plays the cops like all like Serpico here. Serpico in Alaska. Okay, I'm gonna give this like for Insomnia. Okay, I'll give it. Give it a grade. No, I want to be. I want to be like, I'll get a grade just because it might be. I really don't. It might not be. Let's see what reception was. 92% based on film reviews. A B, you got a B from Cinema Score. Oh, it's a remake. The director of the original film said it was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, who knows? What's following? I would give it good because it sounds like they're just sort of no one really knows knows what to say about it in the reviews, so that's not the best sign. So maybe it wasn't great. And I'll have to revise in case I find out that it was. Following is a 1998 independent neo noir. So this is the falls. Oh yeah, one of these really budget thrillers where they follow a guy around a city. It's like something like a student can make. He follows strangers around the streets of London and is drawn into a criminal underworld when he fails to keep his distance. Okay, well this is starting to look like a fucking, Pierre de la Maville, Jean-Luc Godard type of deal. With the fucking no real mise en scène, but just a lot of like, you know, brusque reality. I'm going to assume that it is watchable, kind of at the Dunkirk level. So there you have it. Nothing terrible by Nolan. That's one thing. He is consistently not terrible. But I used to think he was a lot better than he was until I saw Dunkirk. And then I just started, for I guess probably really personal reasons more than anything, I just thought it was not the best film. And honestly, I just thought, like, actually, I just thought the film was kind of boring. Really, it was just kind of a boring movie. It had so much money going into it. You can see the professionalism was just teeming with professionalism, teeming with expertise, teeming with artistry, and yet the execution was just this weird, like misshapen, overblown monstrosity. And that probably just the money could have gone to something better. I would think. I guess World War II is a pretty good thing to commemorate. So, but you could have done a better World War II movie. Just saying. All right, so at 21 minutes 30 seconds, we did all the Christopher Nolan films, and I'll admit I've seen all of them. Probably should rewatch a few. There's two I haven't seen, but I can tell you right now, Insomnia is a remake of a good film, and it's got Al Pacino going to Alaska, so it's got to be kind of good, right? So I put it in good just based on the promise it seems to have. And then this film called The Following, it seems like it's the debut film, really, by Nolan. It seems sort of like hogwash, kind of like something you would like you like your one of your more interesting friends would make this movie, and then you'd want. It doesn't necessarily scream genius, and maybe it is. Maybe I should just watch it anyway. Anyway, it's really watchable because it comes off so underwhelming just its face, which is not fair to judge a film by its cover. But yeah. Anyway, I will review all these after watching Oppenheimer and watch the ones I haven't seen and rewatch the ones I want to see once or something close to that, just so we can be more accurate uh, tier ranking. But I think this one has a little more charm than one's totally accurate. Sometimes inaccuracy is what you want in a YouTube video. Am I right? I think I'm right. I'm definitely right. Okay. Now this could be definitely right. I'm going to sign off at 23 minutes, a few seconds. So to the top for now. Good night. Good luck. Cheers. Ciao. Yippee-ki-yay.